You're listening to Permission To, the podcast where we dive into the science and soul of owning your worthiness as a perfectly imperfect human being. I'm your host, Sam Dew, psychotherapist, positive psychology coach, mama to a beautiful 5-year-old Amelie, and passionate advocate for living an inspired life. My aim is to show you that you have full permission to own your worthiness so that you can embrace your true nature and begin walking boldly toward your dreams. Let's dive in. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Permission To. Today I am going to be interviewing my beautiful friend and client, Lucy Ann Lewis, and we are going to be talking all about body acceptance. So Lucy is a fat babe, a rebel, and a body acceptance coach. She's both a qualified counsellor and qualified life coach. She is anti-diet and pro-self-love. Her mission is to help women accept their bodies so that they can be more confident and live their joy. After spending far too much of her life trying to change her body and being afraid to take up space in the world and follow her own joy, she thought she might try accepting her body instead, and it changed her life. Lucy no longer spends time worrying about her body or letting it hold her back from life. Instead, she follows her joy every single day because there is nothing wrong with her body, and she wants you to know that there is nothing wrong with your body either. Lucy is also a mum to a firecracker 5-year-old named Tilly, married to her best friend, and they live in the Perth Hills together with their sausage dog Cranksky, rescue cat Buffy, and new addition Popcorn the Axolotl. So let's dive in. I'm so excited for you all to meet Lucy and hear what she has to say. Welcome, Lucy. So I've been waiting for this chat for months and I'm so excited that you're here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So let's just dive straight in. I'm not a big fan of small talk. I just love to get right in there and just get to the juicy parts of what is going to be super powerful for everyone listening. So we've been working together for a couple of years now, right? You started one of my shorter programs, and then you've been in Permission Granted, and then Permission Granted with the Inner Circle, which is like the VIP one-on-one option. I would love for you to take us back to Lucy a few years ago. Could you share more about where you were at and what led you to sign up to work with me and join Permission Granted?
Yeah. I guess I was, kind of at the crossroads deciding what I wanted to do with life. My daughter Tilly was starting school, and I had decided to do my life coaching qualification, and I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do with my business and life. And you had just launched the Happy Biz Mama project. And I remember talking to you on Instagram about whether I should join or not. And you convinced me that I should join very nicely, I will add. And it was honestly the best. And it was perfect timing because COVID kind of hit right as we started and everything shut down. And it was so lovely to have beautiful support through that, and got me addicted to working with you, really.
Well, that's a positive kind of addiction, I'd say.
Yeah.
That was such an intense time. I remember feeling like it was the first time I'd launched a group experience, and I felt like I went through a bit of a grief process of like, oh, it's not how I hoped it would be, because we've just been hit with COVID and we're in lockdown, and it just wasn't how I expected it to be. But it's interesting how sometimes those challenging experiences can bring people closer together. Because I think everyone really pulled together as a group and supported each other through what was a pretty challenging year, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think really from that, our friendship grew as well. And so it was really a no-brainer to join permission granted when you launched. Like I didn't even have to think about it. I knew that it was going to be such a nurturing, supportive growth experience.
Yeah, I love when it's like a full, I get that experience with my coach too, who's also, it's beautiful when clients and friendships kind of merge, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what's so special about the coaching relationship.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you just know it's a full body yes, right? Like you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
And it just shows there's like that trust in the relationship. And so what do you think like was the main reason that you signed up to Permission Granted? Would you say a lot of women, it's kind of like wanting more confidence or more clarity, or that like wanting to work on their worthiness? You know, it's so unique for everybody, but what do you think was the main thing that you wanted to work on when you joined that experience?
Yeah, it was definitely worthiness and just, the confidence to be seen. And also just to help with my sort of procrastination and, stopping procrastinating about, the things that I wanted to do. And just to have some really beautiful, gentle, loving support. The support that you give is just so unlike any other support I've ever had in my life. Like it is so nurturing, and just it's allowed me to really grow into the person that I want to be and have the business that I want to have. It's just the support of the other women that you've called in as well. Like it's such a nurturing experience. Sorry, my dogs have just gone crazy.
That's all right. This podcast is very much imperfect. If there's a dog in the background, I've got builders working on the outside of the house, so that's all good. Okay, and I think there's something about my energy that attracts women who are very big-hearted, feel deeply, and that there's a real beautiful supportive energy in the group, isn't there?
Absolutely.
And I'm not like one of those coaches who is super like yells at you if you don't do what you say. Like I'm very much about gentle accountability, because I often there's like some deeper stuff going on when we procrastinate, and just shouting at someone or just trying to hold them accountable, it doesn't really work.
Yeah. And I also think that you're very good at like kind of pinpointing, like if I say something like, are you sure like this isn't going, or are you sure there's like, and like really like being able to sort of dig that little bit deeper. You're very good at doing that and doing it in a very gentle way as well.
Yeah, thank you, Lucy. I think when you find a client and coach, I'm sure other listeners will have experienced this, when a client and a coach just fit so well together, it just feels so magical. And I feel so grateful for that relationship, because I know it's not just me and how I show up, it's also you and how you show up, and you're so open to to doing the work, really. And that's what we've been doing together, right, for the last 2 years, doing the work. And so what do you think that journey's been like for you, like when you look back over the last couple of years? What's it been like and what's it felt like?
It's not always been easy. Like I know, like I resisted a lot of it, and you'll know that too. And it took me sometime a little bit of time, I think, to get to the same, like the place that you thought I should be, or the place that you thought I was going. And like it's kind of like you could see it and you were just kind of waiting for me to sort of see it too and get there. But throughout it all, it's never, I've never felt what's the word I'm looking for? I guess pushed or pulled. It was always very like take my own time, arrive where I need to arrive on my own, while doing this sort of really deep internal work, and kind of sometimes not even realizing that I was doing it, continuing to show up and sort of trusting the process, I guess, like really trusting you and the process, and that I would get to where I needed to go by sort of just letting go and letting it happen. And
I love that. And what do you think has been the biggest mindset shift since you've been doing this work? Because I absolutely agree with you. Like it's kind of like that whole metaphor that it's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, sometimes it takes longer than we think it will, but it's kind of about accepting and not pushing through that. But yeah, I'm really curious about your biggest mindset shift or shifts that you want to share.
Yeah. I guess one that it gets to be easy, like things can be easy and gentle, and that, you know, rest is really important. And I guess also, you know, really listening to what my body needs and what I need, and you know, showing up when I need to show up. Like, I love your, you know, follow the plan, not the mood.
Yes.
But at the same time, you know, not pushing myself if I'm sick or if I'm run down, and that, you know, that doesn't have any impact on my worth. Like, if I can't show up for a week because I'm sick, I'm still worthy.
Yeah, I love that. And also, like, I think this is something that a lot of women in business can relate to, that like if a launch is challenging or if something in your business is challenging, that's not a reflection of your self-worth, right?
100%. And, you know, it's like we've been talking about lately that so, you know, going into because I'm just about to launch again, and going into that launch, that I can show up in a way that feels right to me, and that is okay, and that's, you know, it can be easy and be successful, and I don't have to kind of like push or pull or, you know, do anything that doesn't feel right to me. And that no matter what happens, I'm still worthy, and I'm still, you know, if I'm showing up and I'm showing up in a way that feels right, then really I can't fail. And I don't fail. And that has been such a big lesson for me over the past 2 years of working with you.
It's like you're declaring, I'm going to love myself no matter what happens in my business, in my life.
Yeah.
And that creates so much safety within you that you're able to expand and grow. We can't do that if we don't have that self-love. And the other thing I was thinking, Lucy, is that a massive part of your journey has been like really stepping into who you are, and like being that idea of being unapologetically you. And like anyone who follows you, we're going to share all Lucy's details at the end, but Lucy just does the most individual reels. Like, everybody loves them because you've just learned to be fully you. And that's going to lead us into, like, do you want to share with with everybody a little bit about your business and how it shifted, you know, because I think that's a big part of what's come out of Permission Granted, right? That you've kind of gone from trying to, you know, be a coach that works with everybody and pleases everyone, to really stepping into who you are and really owning your niche. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about what you do as a coach and what your area of expertise is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a body acceptance coach, and I enjoy working with women to help them to accept their bodies as they are right now, every day, so they can have more confidence, and more importantly, so they can follow their joy every single day. And you're absolutely right. Like, I resisted working in this space for so long, even though it's clearly where I was meant to be all along. And that was absolutely was a big journey out of Permission Granted to actually own it. And I remember the conversation when I told you that, and you're like, that's where you should have been all along. It's like you finally got there.
Why did I say that? I hate using the word should with clients because, you know, we've all got our own journey, and sometimes
I don't know if that was the exact word, but it was something along those lines.
Sometimes you can see where people could go, and it's super hard. Like, you got to let them get there themselves. You can't just tell them what to do, right? I love that. So I would love to know a little bit about like your journey with body acceptance and what made you decide to to work in that area?
Yeah. So I guess, I spent so much of my life trying to change my body and try to change the way I looked. I tried every diet. And then when they inevitably fail, because all diets do, they're set up that way, it would start that shame spiral, like it was my fault that it didn't work and there was something wrong with me. And, there was something wrong with my body and I would never be lovable or desirable or be worthy of the life that I wanted, because I was fat, basically. And, I had no confidence and no self-esteem. And it got too heavy and too much. And I was like, there has to be another way. Like, I cannot and do not want to keep living life this way. I'd stopped myself from doing things. I pretty much closed in on myself. I didn't go out anywhere, didn't see anyone. It wasn't a life. And so about this same time, I was just surfing the internet, and it was Tumblr back in those days. And I came across other fat women putting pictures of themselves on the internet and not hating themselves. They were like, this is me wearing this outfit, look. And it was like a dirty little secret. Like, I quickly closed it down. I was like, I can't look at that. Like, that's not something I should be looking at. Like, I can't do that. But it had kind of like planted the seed. It's like, well, why can't I do that? Like, why do I think that I can't do that too, or be happy with my body the way that it is? And I looked into a bit further and I found this whole movement, like this, body positivity, fat acceptance, body acceptance movement. And it was very new. And I literally woke up one day and decided that I was going to try to accept my body and just see what happened. Because I had nothing to lose by trying. I'd tried everything else and nothing else had worked. So I was going to try this. And it literally changed my life. It changed my life. I started dressing in clothes that made me really happy. I mostly dress for my inner child now. Like, I wear very bright colors and patterns and things that make my inner child very happy.
Yeah.
And I don't try to change my body at all. And I'm so happy and so joyful. And I found all those things that I was looking for, love and acceptance and friendships and a really happy life. And everything I do is what makes me joyful. I follow my joy. And if it doesn't make me happy and light me up and joyful, then I don't want to do it anymore.
Oh, God, thank you for sharing that with us, Lucy. Like, it's such a powerful story. And in some ways, it sounds like body acceptance almost saved your life, like that if you continued to fight against your body so much, you were just withdrawing and probably really vulnerable to depression and
absolutely.
So like really and I can just hear, it makes me think about how it still all comes down to self-worth, right? Like, because you are tying your appearance to your self-worth.
100%.
And you went, no, I'm going to accept myself. And I love the way you dress. Like, everybody, you have to go and follow Lucy if you don't already follow her. But she just has this way you have this way of dressing that like always lights me up. And you can see the joy through the way that you dress and you show up.
Thank you.
And that's so inspiring, because there's so many women who have these messages about, oh no, well, you should wear this color, like you should only wear black and you should wear these kind of clothes so that you can hide your body shape. And it's like, it's such bullshit. It's like you get to wear whatever you want to wear, whatever size you are. And Yeah. So I think the way it's kind of like, it's not just the words you say that I think inspire me and inspire your community. It's how you show up in the world, and it's what you wear. I think that, gives other women permission to do the same. So it's
Thank
so
you.
powerful.
Yeah.
So I love your story. Why do you think in general it's important for all women to accept their bodies?
Yeah. You know, the diet industry and diet culture is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they profit off your insecurity, right? They're making profit
Yeah.
off perpetuating this idea of the perfect body, which doesn't exist. That perfect body that's portrayed in the media, only a very, very, very small percentage of people actually have that body naturally. And it is actually impossible for the average person to achieve that, right? It's just not possible. But we're told that it is, right? And we're told that all we need to do is follow this diet or this lifestyle change or whatever they're marketing, and we will get that body, right? And when it doesn't happen, because 97% of diets fail, then we're told that it's our fault that it failed, right? And so it's thrown back onto us. So that starts that shame spiral again. And they go, well, hang on, we've offered you this lifetime membership because we know you're going to need a lifetime membership because our diet doesn't work. And so what they're offering is that community and that, you don't worry, all these people have failed too. So you're not alone. And get you to try again, right? So they're just preying on your insecurities and they're making money off it. And meanwhile, you're stuck in this shame spiral where, you think there's something wrong with you, and you think there's something wrong with your body, and you think that you don't deserve to have the life that you want to have and wear the clothes that you want to wear, and that you won't ever be, ever find love or have kids or be desirable, whatever it is you want out of life. And it's complete and utter bullshit. It's the patriarchy, really, and those beauty standards that just have that myth of the perfect body, and anyone that doesn't fit inside of that is wrong. And it's just not true. Everyone has a body, and everybody is a good body. And bodies come in all different shapes and sizes and colors and textures, and there is nothing wrong with any of them. And so accepting your body as it is like a rebellion, right? It's like a form of resistance. And you're, if you're stopping yourself from going after what you want because of your body, then you're doing yourself a disservice, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I think, everyone is worthy of whatever they want in life.
And you know what I think, Lucy, like my dream is that when our girls, Tilly and Emily, both our daughters, are pretty similar in age, that when they're adult women, that is just normal, that it's not a rebellion anymore, that it's just like, yep, any body is a good body, and that's normal, that we don't even need to be having these conversations anymore. That's my hope for it, because I think that's the other thing I love about your work, that you're, when you do this work, you're literally handing it down to the next generation of women too.
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah. I don't want Tilly to go through any of the body trauma that I went through. To, have to, worry that she's, not attractive or desirable, or that there's something wrong with her, or, starve herself because, and, even now, like, we lie in bed and talk about what we like about our bodies, and size has nothing to do with it. Size and weight has nothing to do with it. And you are so much more than your body and so much more than your appearance, right? It's the least interesting thing about you.
Yes, I love that point of view. And it's something I'm trying to work on. Like, it's so easy as a habit to kind of, the first thing you might comment on when you see a little girl is, their appearance, or I really like that dress, or, something like that. And, it seems like a really lovely thing to compliment someone, but it almost is kind of giving them that message, especially for little girls, that that's the most important, or that's the most interesting thing about you.
Yeah.
So I try really hard to like more comment on, Amelie's personality, or, how she's talking or playing or interacting, rather than what she's wearing or
absolutely.
what she's like. It's definitely been ingrained in me to, to go to appearance first. And it's something I've had to kind of almost unteach myself.
Yeah. And it's really hard, right? Because it's true. Everywhere we look, it's like appearance.
Yeah.
And, focusing less on how your body looks and more about what it can do. So I say to Tilly, like, wow, you're such a fast runner. Oh, wow, you lifted that all on your own. You're really strong. And, just things like what her body can do as opposed to how it looks.
Yeah. It's so important, isn't it? And so for those who are maybe finding accepting their body is challenging, which, let's face it, like, I have definitely gone through my own challenges with that, especially after my daughter was born. Where does one start when it comes to giving yourself permission to accept your body? Do you have any like tips and tools that you could share that would support us with this?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is that you have to decide. You have to decide that that's what you're going to do. And every day you wake up and make the choice that you are going to accept your body. And I'm not, body acceptance to me doesn't mean that you love yourself sick every single day, because it's not sustainable and it's not realistic. Like, we all have bad body images. If you are a human that has a period, you have days where you feel bloated and heavy and just bleh in your body, right? And that's normal. But it's knowing that even on those bad days, your body's still a good body, right? And it still deserves respect. So the first thing is to decide that you're going to start accepting your body. The second thing that I will say, and this was one of the most powerful things for me, was to follow a diverse range of bodies on my social media. So take the time to unfollow any of those accounts that every time you see them, they make you feel a bit shit about yourself, like a bit shamey, and they're a little bit fat phobic, or, trying to sort of prey on your insecurity. Like, get rid of them. They don't deserve space in your life. And fill your feed with diverse bodies. So, colored bodies, trans bodies, queer bodies, disabled bodies, bodies, that have different skin texture and hair texture and fat and thin, and just a diverse range of bodies, because that'll really normalize bodies and that all bodies are different and all bodies are okay and normal. That was one of the most powerful things for me, was just seeing a range of different bodies. And just begin to be more compassionate with yourself. The way that you talk to yourself is really important. And so instead of like looking in the mirror and go, ugh, my arms are so flabby, look in the mirror and say, I have 2 arms that allow me to hug the people that I love, and just being kind and compassionate with yourself. And doing those 3 things will give you a really good start.
I love that. And I just had a thought for me. I know this is something that I find challenging. I'd love to know, I'm sure other listeners do too. What do you do? Like, how do you handle if you're trying to be body positive or body, like, accept your body, but maybe you've got a friend who talks really negatively about their body in front of you? And that, I know in my experience when I was trying to feel okay with my body after my daughter was born, if I was around a friend who was talking really negatively around her body, and perhaps she was, say she was slimmer than I was, that would bring up a lot for me. Do you have any advice? Is that something that a lot of your clients would bring up? And what advice would you give them about how to manage that?
So, like, this is where boundaries come in, right? Like, if someone is trying to talk to you about, their new diet, and they're just trying to be helpful, and I think that it would help for you. It is I'm not saying it's easy, like it's hard to
Yeah.
say to them, I don't want to talk about this with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like talk about my body is off limits.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really just putting that boundary in place. Like say to your friend, like, I really enjoy your company and I love having a cup of tea with you, but if you're going to keep coming over and talking about how much you hate your body, then I'm sorry, like we won't be able to have tea anymore because I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
And you know, like, it's not easy. it's hard, but you know, self-preservation as well, like, and it's a boundary. Like, it's triggering. And you know, you wouldn't keep putting yourself in a situation if you know you were getting harmed, and that's the same, like, it's harming your mental health, right?
Yeah. And it's tricky, isn't it? Because you can like, I also have like compassion for that person. Like they've obviously got their own body image issues regardless of what their weight is.
Yes.
But yeah, like talking about your body in that way can affect other people. That's why I'm very careful about how I talk about my body in front of my daughter, because I know whatever she hears me say is what she's going to internalize herself.
Exactly.
So I often say like, oh, look at mummy's belly. It's so soft and beautiful, and it grew you, and and like I've consciously done that for her as well. But it's also really helped me with body acceptance.
Yeah.
Physically say what I love about my body.
Yeah.
Is really different. So yeah, it's just an interesting one. It's also the same with GPs. Like I had a GP when I fell pregnant. She was like, "Oh, your BMI is like you're obese," like, and I was so triggered by it. And I said to her, okay, I never lost a lot of the baby weight from Emily, but I am healthier than I was before I got pregnant. Like, I eat healthier, I exercise more, my body shape has just changed. So I actually said to her, I don't believe in BMI and I don't want to talk about it with you anymore. I don't believe it's a reflection on my health.
The BMI is a load of nonsense. It was designed by an astronomer to measure the population in Western Europe of men. It was never designed to be used as a tool to measure health. And it is not in any way
designed by a doctor.
No, it wasn't. And it doesn't take into account, bone density, all of these other factors, like environmental factors, socioeconomic factors, like all of these factors that actually influence our weight and our body shapes. And so it is a load of crap.
Yeah. And it's hard when you've got a medical professional saying, well, this is going to affect your birth plan and your, all of these things. And you're like, well, how much do I believe that? And, so for me, putting boundaries with doctors is quite important. Or do you even recommend trying to find like GPs that are health at every size kind of practitioners?
Yeah, there is definitely GPs out there that are health at every size. But again, like you say, it is just putting that boundary in place. Like if they say like they have to weigh you, and sure, like certain medication, they do have to know your weight to give you the correct dosage, but you don't have to know it. So like if they need to weigh you, you say that's fine, you can put it in my file, but I don't want to know what it is.
Yeah. Or I don't want any labels around it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's so helpful. Thank you, Lucy. I think a lot of women find navigating those conversations challenging.
Yeah, and it is challenging.
You're super clear on your boundaries, which I think is important.
Yeah.
So how can people find out more about your work, like, and what opportunities are coming up for people to work with you?
Yeah, so I guess the best way is to follow me on Instagram or to join my email list, which you can do from Instagram as well. But I do have a free 3-day experience coming up. So it's coming into that time of year where we start to get bombarded with those messages of like getting your body ready for summer, right? And I hate it. It's just shit. And so I'm doing a 3-day experience, which is have your best summer ever in the body you already have. And it's a kickstart to accepting your body and really enjoying yourself this summer without the body hang-ups. So it's going over 3 days, starting on the 6th of October. It's an email series because I know it's school holidays. So you don't have to show up live. You'll get sent an email every day with a short video, less than 10 minutes, and then an action item for you to do after you've watched that video. So it doesn't take a lot of time commitment from you, but it will give you a really good taste of my work and what I do, and really help you to have your best summer ever in the body you already have. And you can join. I think you were going to put that. I think there'll be a link in the show notes, right?
Yeah.
All from my Instagram.
I love the name. Can you say the name of that challenge again? Because whenever you say it, I find myself beaming. Like, it just makes me feel so good. Can you say it one more time?
Yep. Have your best summer ever in the body you already have.
I love that, because I know so many women who like dread summer and avoid it because they don't want to show their body, or they're not happy with their body, or they feel like they've got to thrash themselves at the gym to get ready for summer, and there's like so much crap messages there, isn't it? And you're just giving this really beautiful, empowering message that you can have the best summer in the body you already have. And I absolutely love that. So that sounds like a beautiful challenge. And if someone already knows that they 100% need to work on body acceptance, and that they'd be curious of working with you, are there any ways to work with you in like a longer, deeper way?
Absolutely. So my signature program is the Body Acceptance Academy, and that is an 8-week online experience with me, and the doors are opening to that at the end of October, so you can join the waitlist, the VIP waitlist, for that. And that's an 8-week deep dive into body acceptance and joy, and this round will be again heavily focused on the best summer ever. And just you'll finish at the beginning of December. So it will run from the end of October to the beginning of December, and you will then have all the tools you need to go out there and nail summer joy in your body.
And I kind of heard on the grapevine, because this is the second time you'll be running this program, that it was pretty awesome the first time, right? Like
it was amazing.
Yeah, you had some great feedback. So that's really exciting. If anyone wants to find out how they can work with Lucy, I will share all those different options in the show notes. I just feel so grateful for you, Lucy, and I'm just beaming from this conversation. I just think we need to have more and more of these conversations.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed speaking to you about this.
Fun. We could chat for hours. I remember when you had me on your podcast, we were just like, we could just chat for hours, and we talk about everything. So I'm sure I'll have you back on again next year or something.
Oh, thank you. I'd love to.
Yeah. Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.